to strike and then strike in such a manner that there will be no civilian casualty. And that has actually resulted in the execution of that precise strike where the report is that there is no civilian casualty. So intelligence sharing from the Nigerian government and the US, and then the final execution of the strike against ISIS, Lakurawa bandit, and all terrorist organizations in that axis.
Trump administration officials and Donald Trump himself have been accusing Nigeria for months for not doing enough to basically limit this sort of Christian genocide that the US believes is taking place in Nigeria. Obviously, the Nigerian government has denied it. We do know that there are security issues in Nigeria in various parts of the country, particularly the north. But the Nigerian officials have often said there is no Christian genocide taking place. But when the US and Nigeria work together in terms of conducting this particular strike, doesn't that fuel the narrative that there is perhaps some truth, just the optics of it, there is perhaps some truth to what the US is saying, which Nigeria vehemently denies?
No, not at all, because if you recall that for many months before our engagement with the United States started, the Nigerian government, of course, the military forces in Nigeria have been consistently pouncing on these terrorists, decimating the terrorists in the north central, in the northwest, and the northeast. In fact, we went ahead and arrested some leaders of the Ansaru terrorist organization, some of whom were actually in the US terror list, who were applauded by the US government through their embassies in Nigeria, right? We have also been intensifying the fight, which the American government has been applauding us. But I think the idea of the Christian genocide came when some congressmen fed off of, a report which has since been debunked, suggesting that there is a Christian genocide. And that was what led me to the United States on the orders of the president to engage with the Western media. We have made the success so far because data has shown that there is no Christian genocide. And it is okay sometimes to disagree to agree. So we disagree on this point that the American people believe that there is a Christian genocide. On our side, we know that there is a spiritual problem, just like you said, but the killings in Nigeria were not targeted at any specific religion. Various data have shown that. But where we agree, which is the most important thing, is that we both have shared interest in the fight against terrorism. And this is where we are narrowing the collaboration along this line. And you have seen the first stage, which is the successful strike that took place. Hopefully, this will continue as long as we identify the terrorists and their cell and the hideouts. And then we will be able to achieve marked results, because terrorism is a global project. After 9/11, the United Nations empowered the United States to lead this endeavor. And you discover that where you find terrorist activities in any part of the world, the whole world must show concern. And that is the only way by which you can deal with them. And we're happy and excited with the way the American government have agreed with us in this endeavor, and they are helping us tremendously in this regard.
Right, so to your point about the US and Americans, or rather the Americans and Nigerians agreeing to disagree, essentially, even though the US thinks that there's a Christian genocide taking place in Nigeria, the Nigerians are saying, well, no, it's not necessarily a Christian genocide. We do have a massive security issue. We do have issues when it comes to terrorism. It's not Christians being targeted, but hey, we could use your help. And that's why there was this, coordination in terms of an attack on Christmas Day. When it comes to Sokoto being targeted specifically, there are some analysts who say, listen, if it was the Zambisa forest, for example, they would understand. When it comes to the terrorists that exist and operate in Sokoto, a lot of them are targeting other Muslims. And if you're looking for ISIS-linked terrorists, a lot of them are actually in northeastern Nigeria instead. So talk to us about the specifics in terms of this location.
So when it comes to warfare, and especially counter-terrorism, people need to understand that the terrorists are not done. Where they attack is usually different from where they put their cell, where they gather, where they do their training. And so to assume that they will be in Sambisa doing their training here will be foolhardy. They have since, and they are nomadic in nature. If you look at that axis, the Sokoto axis, that is the corridor where you have that leads to the Sahel. You have Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and the rest. And this is how the ISIS have been coming into Nigeria. And like the Foreign Affairs Minister said, I think a few days ago, it is a regional thing. It is not like specifically, targeting at Nigeria. You look at the way they operate from around that axis. So the fact that there was a strike in Sokoto and not in Sambisa is not a conclusive proof that there is a misdirection. Why? Because these people have been decimated. The local news we got from the people on ground and from the local media is that a lot of terrorists were killed in that strike. One, two, there was no civilian casualty. And the third and most important one is that life is coming into those environments because people are showing excitement how that now the collaboration between Nigeria and the US government is bringing life back to them in that part of the country. So it's a successful one. And for strategic reasons, you won't announce where you are striking. It is intelligence that leads to strike. You don't just assume and then go. If the intelligence leads you to a location where you find their cell and enclave, like in this case, you will strike at that place. It doesn't matter if historically they've been in Sambisa or not.
Daniel, I have literally 30 seconds, but will there be more U.S. coordinated airstrikes in Nigeria?
Definitely, there will be more collaboration, there will be more effort in this regard, and if it calls for strike, there will be more strike. Because our president is committed to the Nigerian people that will protect the life and the welfare of the Nigerian people, and he will collaborate with anybody, not just the United States, but will collaborate with the global partners in order to put an end to this terrorism.
Right, Daniel Bwala, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nigerian police.